Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe down below. We are now less than 300 subscribers away from 10,000, which is unbelievable. And if you could like the video down there as well, it does massively help me out. It spreads the video to more people and continues to grow this fantastic community. There's loads of you here already on this whatever day of the week it is. I am confused. What is it? Wednesday evening. Shikar, Pekka, Darwin Godnez, of course he's here. Saka number 7, Electric Gaming, VV Vlad, Richard Devin, Leeds Gunner, Gaming. What are those letters there? I genuinely can't even tell with that font what letters those are. Someone tell me what that is. Max Steifberg, Totally Carl, Leo Nesbitt, Verdi, Magnus, Sam Shapiro, Jelly Belly, Hannah, Emilio, Saliba, Fizzy, Adam, Icarus, Francisco Oliveira, Ultra Pro Gamer, and Archie Musgrove. It is good to see you all. Rory and Scaife beefing on TikTok. Nah, there's no beef. There's no beef between me and Scaife. Look, I made a video on him, and it was my fault because I made a video on him because he said that Ben White should have been banned for 3 games, and I thought that was a little bit far. And I gave him easy material to fire back with. So look, the game is the game. The game is the game, and fair play to George Scaife. It worries me how some of our players perform under pressure. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I do think it is. Look, I think it's just part of growing and developing as a young squad. I think the players have to go through tough moments, and they'll learn from it. And that's, you've got to hope they learn. Will they learn quickly enough to overcome it next week? That's another question. When's the next football challenge? Very, very soon. Very, very soon. I'm still depressed at the ref. Yeah, look, I mean, I think Kane should have been sent off. I think the Saka one's a penalty. And the thing is, people are slowing it down to like 25% and then going, look, Neuer's leg is just about on the ground and set there, and Saka's is in the air. It's like, I was not far away from it at all watching it in real time. You watch it in real time, it was stonewall. I was genuinely shocked that it wasn't given as a penalty. In class right now, so can't stick around for too long. No worries, Vincent. Enjoy class. Make sure you get your learning in. The Harry Kane sending off is it, but also I do think Gabriel is kind of lucky. The ref not giving the Gabriel pen was him just playing the occasion, same as the 2nd-minute reckless tackle not giving us a red card. Well, I think it is common sense, and this is the thing, right? People say all the time, refs need to have common sense. Refs need to give common sense. Remember, and this especially to Liverpool fans, remember when VAR cocked up and miscommunicated with the referee, the on-field referee, and they couldn't go back and give the Luis Diaz goal when it was incorrectly ruled out for offside. And remember, we all came together and said we should have common sense there. Even though by the letter of the law they couldn't go back, we all said they should have common sense. And that's what the referee did last night. He provided common sense. But now they don't like it. Now they don't want common sense. No. Letter of the law. He has to stick to the letter of the law and give a penalty. And this is the thing. People only want common sense if the common sense thing goes against the letter of the law and the letter of the law has their team negatively affected. It's as simple as that. So, for me, look, I don't know why Gabriel picks it up. I think when we talk about players that are maybe struggling with the occasion, I thought Gabriel last night was his head wasn't always in the game. I think the mistake for the first goal, I think it's more on him than on David Raya. I know some people think it's more on Raya and are like, why is Raya coming out? But he'd have been coming out and he'd have been shouting. And if Gabriel isn't tuned into that, I do think that that's a mistake from him. In my opinion, it's not a penalty for the Gabriel handball because I think it'd be very harsh to give it, as I don't think he was trying to gain any advantage in doing it. Exactly. He wasn't trying to gain an advantage. He didn't gain an advantage. The Bayern Munich players weren't even pressing him. It made literally no difference to the game. And there are other examples, right? Think about the amount of times where the referee blows the whistle for someone to take a throw-in. And they're thinking about taking the throw-in, and then someone else runs over and they chuck them the ball. Well, technically, that's a foul throw because the referee has blown the whistle for play to start and the player has thrown it. and it's a foul throw. But no one cares. Think about the amount of times, I think even in the game yesterday, I've got a feeling that the whistle had gone for Bayern Munich to take a free kick, and De Ligt passed it back to Manuel Neuer, who then picked it up and then put it back down and then went to take it. Well, again, letter of the law, that's a back pass because play had started and he's picked it up. But, you don't even talk about that. So the Bayern players weren't asking for a pen anyway. They were. Have you not? They were, though, were they not? From what I saw, Kane and Musiala both appealed for a penalty, unless I'm wrong. But I'm certain both Kane and Musiala turned around and waved at the ref and wanted a penalty. So, it's just one of them. It's like, if you want a game to be decided by something like that, fair enough, but not for me. And I would genuinely, I hope at least, I would genuinely apply that to the other side. I saw a tweet where he said Saka was limping after a shocker yesterday. Saka literally scored a banger. The talk around Bukayo Saka is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Saka had a very good game yesterday. A far better game than Musiala, for example. A far better game, if you look at the other game, than Jude Bellingham or Erling Haaland. But again, all of the talk is around him. All of the talk is around him for doing something that every attacking player does. And some attacking players historically got praised for it a lot. Eden Hazard used to win penalties like that all the time. Jamie Vardy. The amount of times Jamie Vardy would be through one-on-one, would take it past the keeper, leave his leg there, get taken down, win a penalty, and everyone would applaud it. The next challenge is dropping soon, Max. The next challenge is dropping very soon. I've never seen a back pass actually be punished, lol. Seems like a forgotten rule. Exactly. Common sense when the goalkeeper holds the ball for periods of time longer than the rules. You're meant to only be allowed to hold the ball as a goalkeeper for 6 seconds. That rule, I don't think has ever been applied. Again, common sense. And yeah, you're right. Saka does get so much disrespect. I just don't understand it. That pass from Thomas Partey shows what he adds to the team. Respect him. Yeah, look, I mean, Thomas Partey came on and had a decent cameo. The yellow card that he took was important. That was important. Are you doing Bayern player ratings? Yeah, I probably should do. I forgot to do that today, actually. That's a good point. Concerned about the second leg. Only 1 win in 4 away in Europe this season. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And if you look at, if you say yesterday, some of those players got caught up in the occasion, which I think they did. That was in front of an entire stadium of home fans. You go into the Allianz now. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Partey was bad, in my opinion, was too shaky. I think he looks, I think in some ways, physically, he just looks, it reminds me a little bit of Casemiro. The way Casemiro looks for United this season, Partey looks a bit like that for me. I think he's quite easy to run past. And I know he took that booking the one time. He got walked past another time as well. It's concerning. How does this change your opinion on the Villa game lineup? And prediction. I still think we beat Villa. I think we go full strength against Villa as well. I think we just go full strength. I'd maybe bring in Tomiyasu for Ben White, who I think looks a bit tired again. But other than that, I think I'd go full strength. I'd probably start Zinchenko as well, to be honest. Thoughts on Gnabry celebrating? I thought it was a bit distasteful. I was surprised that he celebrated. He's made a lot about being an Arsenal fan even since he left, and being connected to Arsenal. When his name was read out in the stadium, there was no booing. There was a few, there were a few cheers and some applause. So, I was surprised that he celebrated, but it is what it is. It is what it is. How was the Emirates? How was the atmosphere at the Emirates? Because I've seen. Look, there were moments where the atmosphere was unbelievable. There were moments where it was the loudest I've heard it. Before the game, even because it's annoying, right? On Champions League nights, we have to sing North London Forever way earlier than we normally do, because then they do all of the Champions League anthem and all that stuff, which means that a lot of people are still finishing their drinks and stuff before they go out to their seats. So that was no better than normal. But then before kickoff, between that bit and kickoff, it was really good. Obviously, the first 10 minutes, it was really good. Once we scored, it was really good. But once we conceded and then conceded again, it went flat, I mean flat, which was bad. And part of that, I honestly think, is not having an away crowd to bounce off. You know, whenever away fans come, there's a constant noise almost from the away fans. So because you don't have that, when the Arsenal fans are quiet, it was really just very quiet. I think there were a lot of people there that aren't normal match day fans, to be brutally honest. There were a lot of people that just clearly don't go to many games, which is a shame. And I think that definitely affects the atmosphere. But overall, I don't think that Bayern Munich team is too experienced to really get impacted by an atmosphere. I don't think. Saw some Spurs fans as well. Well, I saw Danny Aarons had taken a seat, yeah, which I didn't think was brilliant. I think Mikel got it wrong with the starting 11. The only thing I thought Mikel got wrong was Kivior for Tomiyasu. And to be honest, even on here, right, realistically, we did a vote between Kivior, Tomiyasu, and Zinchenko. Tomiyasu won it by a little bit over Kivior. But even then, half the chat wanted Kivior. And even when we put Tomiyasu in, I was saying, look, I'd have no issue if Kivior started. So hindsight's wonderful, but I don't think Arteta did anything massively different to what we would have expected. $5 super chat from Bermuda Guna. Thank you so much, Bermuda Guna. We should have played like the City game and countered. Come on, you Gunners. Well, I think that's an interesting point. I do think that's an interesting point, and I think it was a big, almost a shock to the system for our players was that Bayern Munich didn't massively respect us. Bayern Munich didn't come and have Gnabry and Sane constantly doubling up on our wingers and settling. They came and attacked us. And at times, they left Sane high and wide, one-on-one with Kivior. And we were struggling to deal with that. There was, even at 2-1, Sane ran through, and luckily Ben White got back and made an unbelievable challenge. But, they played aggressively in that sense. And I don't think we were prepared for that. And so, yeah, in some ways, I do think we were... At times, we were too aggressive. I think for the goal that was the penalty, in the build-up to that, we got baited into a really aggressive press. And at that stage, for me, at 1-0 up, we should have sat back a little bit and just settled into the game. Because at that point, at 1-0, we could have done that. We could have sat back a little bit and countered. And I think we will do that in the away leg. I think we'll go to the Allianz, and I think we'll play much more conservatively, and we will play more like we have done against City, against Liverpool, and we'll see what happens. And maybe that ends up suiting us because, yeah, playing that really aggressive high line and that high press when they've got the likes of Sane, Gnabry. Next week, Gnabry's going to be injured, so it's going to be Kingsley Coman. That is going to be tough. That pace on the counter attack is exceptional. And look, I really dislike him, but when Harry Kane drops deep, he's like a quarterback. He drops deep, picks up the ball, and he will find the perfect ball into Sane or Gnabry or Coman. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult next week. I do think we have to change things a bit. I think Tomiyasu has to come in at left back. I mean, at one point in the second half yesterday, I witnessed Kingsley Coman against Zinchenko, and I never want to see that again. I mean, Zinchenko is seriously slow. I even think to an extent, look, whoever made that claim that Kivior was quicker than Theo Walcott in the fitness tests that they did when he arrived, Jakub Kivior is not quicker than Theo Walcott. I'm sorry to say it, but that is not a thing. But yeah, I do. I think we need to be more pragmatic next week. We can't play that way again because I just think we'll get done on the counter. Had the Ben White chance gone in, it would have changed the game. We would have been much more confident. I agree. Look, Ben White at one end missed a big chance to put us 2-0 up. At the other end, he saved us from going 3-1 down. So they kind of cancelled each other out. But yeah, that Ben White moment was a big one. That Ben White moment, if that falls to anyone else, almost anyone else, I think we're 2-0 up and cruising at that point. So that was frustrating. Do you think a striker would still be needed if Jesus never got injured? Potentially not. Look, I thought Jesus was fantastic when he came on. I thought Jesus looked really sharp. I thought he was really good, as was Trossard. And this is where it then, people then start saying, well, should they be starting? And it's interesting. It's a tough one. Like, for me, Leandro Trossard is just best off the bench. And I think he's brilliant off the bench. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think he can have such an impact off the bench that there's no reason to start him. And then, okay, maybe you bring Martinelli off the bench. But then teams tend to sit back deeper later in the game, which is where I think Trossard thrives. So, I don't know. It's a tricky one. Maybe next week I would actually consider starting Jesus off the left again. Similar to how we did away at Brighton. Jesus off the left, Havertz through the middle. I've seen some people saying put Havertz back into the midfield. I don't know. I think we've seen the best out of Havertz through the middle. So I don't know. You're getting cooked. By who? By who, TP? Who am I being cooked by? Jumana, welcome. It is good to see you. Do you think we'll need to buy a striker if Jesus played every day like he did in the Champions League? Well, look, you've brought me onto a talking point here. You have brought me onto a talking point. So this came from Plettigol today. Now, bear in mind, this is a German source talking about an English player at an English club who really only seems like he's going to go to another English club. So take it with a pinch of salt. But according to Plettigol, Arsenal and Chelsea are monitoring Ivan Toney closely ahead of the summer transfer window. His price tag is around 30 to 40 million all in at the moment. Now, first of all, we've heard previously that Arsenal are no longer interested in Ivan Toney, that it's not going to happen, that we don't like him. So, him saying that we're monitoring Toney closely, maybe we are, maybe we're not. But if his price tag's at around 30 to 40 million, that's crazy. That is crazy. And I genuinely start looking at that. Now, I don't think it's true. They were looking for 100 million for him in January. How's that going to come down to 30 to 40 million when he's not even been playing badly? He's come back in. So you're talking like a suspended Toney that you didn't know how he was going to perform when he came back was 100 million or 80 million. But Toney's come back in, not looked insane, but looked good. And now he's down to 30 to 40. I don't buy it personally. But it's interesting. You're getting cooked on TikTok for the Saka penalty situation. Yeah, I mean, look, the game's the game. I think it's a penalty. Other people don't think it's a penalty. What are you going to do? It is what it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. You can go back and slow it down to 25% speed and act like Saka's the only person that's ever left a leg in. All you want. I saw it in real time. I think it's a penalty. There you go. I watched Gyökeres highlights yesterday and I wasn't convinced by his general play, but he is pretty clinical. Personally, don't think we should pay over 100 million, but he is still very good. Interesting. Yeah, look, I do think, there are still bits of his game that I think he can sharpen up on for sure. But also, I just think he's such a, like you said, he's clinical, massively overperforms on his XG. He's a creator. I just think he would add a lot to this team. I look at games like last night. I would like Gyökeres there. I would like him there. It's 100% a penalty. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't even think it's 100% a penalty. I just think it's a penalty. Like, I can understand why people are looking at it the way they are. You cannot deny that if the ref on field gives a penalty, VAR is not going to overturn it. What about Gabriel Kidd's mistake? Yeah, it was a kid's mistake. I don't know what you want me to say. It's by the letter of the law, the referee should give a penalty, but the referee also has the ability to use common sense, and he did that. Again, what do you want? Like, people say they want common sense, and then they say that they don't, because they clearly don't want common sense if they want that to be given as a penalty. Another $2 from Bermuda Guna. Thank you very much, Bermuda Guna. Fabrizio said that we have Victor G confirmed. Confirmed in what way? I know we're definitely, we're definitely locked in on Gyökeres in terms of him being one of the main ones that we want. But do you mean like we have? What do you mean in terms of we have him? Not that we've agreed to sign him. If we sign Gyökeres, does Havertz have to go into midfield or to the bench? Versatility. This is the thing. Options, versatility. I think actually at the beginning, Gyökeres wouldn't start. You know, I really actually think whoever we sign, whichever striker we sign, if we do sign a striker, assuming we sign a striker, I actually think now whoever it is doesn't start when they first join. I think we'll continue to play Havertz there. We'll continue to potentially play Jesus there. And over time, they will integrate themselves with the squad and eventually start. You know, I don't think Havertz was ever meant to start this early on. I really don't think he was. I think injuries to Jesus and Partey really pushed Havertz into the starting lineup when he wouldn't have done otherwise. And I think the same will apply to Victor Gyökeres or whoever it is. So, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Like, you don't really, unless you're City and you get Erling Haaland, you don't really want the player to have to come in and start immediately. There's a lot of pressure on them when they do that. Harry Kane should have been sent off. I agree Harry Kane should have been sent off. He's a protected player who gets away with everything because he's the poster boy. I agree. I do agree with that. Apparently Gnabry is injured. Maybe Gnabry's probably going to miss next week. Gnabry has a small muscle type affair. A small muscle fiber tear, and is likely to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. So he is going to miss that game, as is Alphonso Davies, who got booked. So the entirety of their left-hand side that started last night will not be able to start against us at the Allianz. Now, presumably, by that point, Kingsley Coman will be fit enough that he can start. So they'll probably just have Coman on the left. And I guess they'll have Rafa Guerrero at left back. But I think that's big for us, you know? I think that is big for us. And it was a good job. Look, Saka got Davies booked within 10 minutes. It was unbelievable. Tony Josic, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. He says, we have a big chance next UCL game. No Davies to contain Saka. No Gnabry too. I hate Kane, but my God, he is a great player. Going to be a super tough game. You're spot on. You are spot on. I think, look, Gnabry won't be such a miss if Coman is fine, but then they don't have much off the bench beyond that. Look, Kane is a very good player. There's no doubting it. And he's smart, you know? He is smart. The way he backs into the defender, the amount of free kicks he wins just by, you know, backing into the defender and leaving them with really nothing that they can do, but the referee falls for it and gives it. It's you know, you'd like it if he played for you, to be truthful. Musiala or Coman on the left, and then Muller or Musiala in the 10. I think because of the way the pace worked against us yesterday, I think because of how well that pace worked, I think they'll go Coman off the left, personally. But we'll see. If Gyökeres comes, he will definitely be compared to Højlund. Yeah, probably. Højlund, Darwin. People were calling Raya's pen attempt embarrassing. Were they? In what way? In what way? Because the thing is, normally Harry Kane doesn't stutter. I genuinely, I haven't seen many of his penalties this season for Bayern, but in general, Harry Kane is normally he just takes his run up and rifles it. So I think David Raya has to commit, which he does, and then it's a good penalty. The stutter sends Raya the wrong way, and he slots it in. I don't think there was much Raya could do about that. When are we going to see a Rory Talks Football versus George Scaife boxing match? I think we're in completely different weight categories. I've never met him in real life, but I think George Scaife's about 5'6" and weighs about, I don't know what he weighs, about 8 stone. To be honest, I've never seen him in real life. That might be completely wrong, but he just strikes me as not the same size as me. And also, I don't want to box him. I've got nothing against George. I've got nothing against. And to be honest, George's video, it was completely respectful towards me. I mean, there were some things he was characterizing me as like an online fan when I 100% go to more Arsenal games than he goes to Liverpool games. So there were some mischaracterizations, but in general, it wasn't an offensive video. Would you start Jesus in the Allianz to set up the counter-attacks for Nelly and Saka, like in the Sevilla first goal? Possibly. I think it's interesting. Kane hasn't had a penalty in 5 months. Wow, I didn't know that. Look, we'll next Tuesday, we'll have a preview for the Bayern game, and I'll go through at that point what I think the team should be. We've got to get past Villa without more injuries first. You know, we've got to get through the Villa game without injuries first. So, we'll talk about that in the future. I definitely think Tomiyasu comes in at left back, and I missed it before, but I did see someone in the chat saying about scapegoating Kivior, and I don't want to scapegoat Kivior. I don't want to scapegoat Kivior. I thought he had a very, very difficult job last night, and you know, it was his first time on that occasion. So you know, I don't want to put it on Kivior at all, but I do think, and I said it before the game, but I haven't changed my mind on that. Tomiyasu is the best 1v1 specialist I think we have, and that is needed for Leroy Sané. So, yeah. Never knew how good Rice was at dribbling. Yeah, Rice is very good at carrying the ball. I wish he'd do it more. I mean, Saliba yesterday was unbelievable. The way that Saliba was dribbling with the ball yesterday was really impressive. The penalty was poor from him, I thought. Do you know why the penalty was poor from Saliba, in my opinion? Because Gabriel has the exact same thought as Saliba, but Gabriel pulls out and Saliba doesn't. And that is the difference. It was also just annoying because, like, I actually think one of them would have made the tackle if Jorginho didn't make that slide tackle. Like, Jorginho actually just played it further into Sané's path. It was a calamity at the back, to be honest. It was a calamity at the back. Another $2 from Tony Josic. Thank you very, very much. He says also Kimmich would be amazing for us. Listen, you know, I've spoken about us potentially bringing in Kimmich on this channel, and I know some of you were against it. That Kimmich right-back performance was fantastic. You know, he dealt with Martinelli incredibly well. As a 1v1 defender, I actually got it wrong. I tweeted before the game that I liked the look of the matchup of Martinelli versus Kimmich. Kimmich did a really good job. Kimmich did a really good job. And realistically, we've seen him as a midfielder for Bayern for years. If you're talking about a right back that can invert, Kimmich is the guy. So yeah, I'd be interested. Look, if that deal becomes available this summer, I would be interested. I know he's old. I know you'd be spending quite a lot for a bit of an older player. I mean, you know, he's still not 30. But yeah, I think Kimmich is definitely one to keep an eye on. It was a comedy of errors for all of the goals. It was. Frustrating. It was frustrating, you know, but you know, it's high stakes at this level. You make mistakes like that, you get punished. It's high stakes. It is. And we have to learn that. You know, these players have to learn for 95 minutes, you cannot switch off. Not once. Because you will get punished for it. And look, Bayern had it at the other end. You know, I thought Bayern, for our first goal, Saka was just allowed to ghost into the box by himself, no one with him. Our second goal, I just thought was class. You know, the assist from Jesus is absolute brilliance. Do you genuinely think we go through? If I had to put my life on it, I'd say no. Based on last night, I thought we played better last night. I thought we had the game. But I'm not sure that the team are ready to do it. I'm not sure the team are ready to do it. That's the truth. I felt like there were times last night where, you know, I would love to be confident. And look, I'm not writing us off. I'm absolutely not writing us off. But if I really, really had to pick a winner, I think I'd go Bayern. And that's, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. I do think this is a missed opportunity. I think if we were taking a lead to Bayern, then really I'd be backing us to hold on to it. But the truth is, you know, we saw one of the best City sides, one of the best teams ever almost in Man City, who were comfortably the best team in Europe at the time, lose and fail to win the Champions League multiple times with the best coach in the world because they weren't ready. And that's just how it is. Like, there's no getting around that. VDRCCC, thank you very much for the €2 super chat. Amorim to Liverpool may take Gyökeres and Diamande. Maybe. I don't think... The thing is, and the reason that in a way, I don't think he takes either of them is that they are two of the players that I feel like Liverpool kind of already have. Liverpool kind of already have Diamande with Ibrahim Konate. Liverpool kind of already have Gyökeres with Darwin Núñez. Now, they are not completely the same. Apart from anything, Gyökeres is clinical, Darwin Núñez is the opposite of that. But they're similar stylistically, to the point where if Amorim comes in and he goes, I want to spend 100 million on Gyökeres, the scouting team and the board at Liverpool, I think, would turn around and go, we've got Darwin Nunez. So unless Amorim goes in and they raise a lot of money by selling players, I don't think that they go there. I might be wrong. Diamande maybe, because, you know, Van Dijk's aging out, I guess, maybe. But yeah, I don't think both of them will go there. Also, I think Erik ten Hag is proof that when you join a new club, taking players with you doesn't always work. And if it doesn't work, it makes it look really bad on you, because it makes it look like you don't actually know who to sign other than people that you've already managed before. So we'll see. How's Dyer starting in 2024? I don't know. But I mean, to be fair, I didn't even think Eric Dyer was that bad, truthfully. Isak is better than Gyökeres. I think it's very close, but one thing Gyökeres has over Isak is the lack of injuries. Another $2 super chat from Bermuda Guna. Thank you very much. Incredibly generous this stream. They can definitely do it playing in the mid block. Look, I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I have to stress that. You know, I'm not saying, I just think we're going to go there and lose. I'm just saying I can picture a world where we don't go through. It wouldn't surprise me. And that's not because I think Bayern Munich are a better team than us. I think it's because they've got so many players that have been there and done it before. And I think that really does make a difference. I think it makes a big, big difference. So we'll see. You know, I mean, I would love it. I'd absolutely love it if the team rose to the occasion, if they thrived in that atmosphere. But from what we've seen so far, even Porto away, you know, Porto away was comfortably our worst performance since the turn of 2024. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Rory, have you noticed players going on Saka's ankle since he mentioned it to the press? Opposition players are targeting him. Maybe. I mean, to be honest, Saka just gets kicked off the park. Like, ankle or not, Bukayo Saka does just get kicked off the park. So it's a tough one. And you know, and that really wound me up. That tweet last night that somehow went super viral. It's on like 40,000 likes, which for Twitter is mad. Basically mocking Saka for limping at the end of the game, as if he was limping from the penalty thing. He was limping for quite a long time towards the end of the game. He actually hurt himself crossing the ball in, and at one point was limping quite heavily off the back of that. And I'm like, again, people just hate him. $1.99 super chat from Devin. Thank you very much, Devin. He's taken us off course with, what is your ideal takeout? What is my ideal takeout? Oh, what is it? What is it? I don't know. I go through phases, to be honest. Like right now, Wingstop has got a hold on me. Right now, Wingstop's got a hold on me. But then I do love a Chinese. It's difficult. You know, but then sometimes I'll go into sometimes I get into a real burger mood. And a Five Guys, I mean, a Five Guys is expensive, but sensational. It's, you know, I don't think there is an ideal takeout. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go out on a limb here and say there isn't an ideal takeout. It's got to be a mood thing. You've got to go with your mood. Were you not scared of the threats that IS made? No, I wasn't. The way that I was thinking about it, right, was, okay, so there are 4 different grounds. A, why would they even tell people that they were going to do it? What a stupid thing that would be to do. Let's make, if they actually wanted to do what they were threatening to do, why would you tell the people that you're going to do it before you do it? That just makes it way harder for yourselves because they'll tighten security. So I was kind of not worried about it for that reason. Then I was like, okay, 1 in 4 chance. There are 4 Champions League games this week. So we're down to a 1 in 4 chance that they pick the Emirates. And off the back of that, I'm then like, okay, and if they do it, like, they can only do one part. They're not going to, you know, the entire stadium's not going to get taken out. So I'm like, okay, well, what are the odds that they pick the 1 in 4 and they happen to pick the part of the stadium I'm in? So I was like, on the balance of play, statistically, I thought it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk. Which part of the UK are you from? I'm originally from a place called Hereford, which is near Wales, but not in Wales. And there is I have to really make that definition. Near Wales, but not in Wales. Got to lift the spirits a bit. Yeah, I do feel like everyone is a bit... I feel like the mood is a bit low. I do feel like the mood's a bit low. And look, beat Aston Villa. By the way, beat Aston Villa, beat Bayern Munich. Suddenly, we're absolutely on top of the world again. So, and this also... This goes to show how far we've come. This goes to show how far we've come under Arteta. We are disappointed with a draw against Bayern Munich in a Champions League quarter-final. That shows how far we've come. And it is disappointing. But Aaron says there are so many haters on the internet. There are many, many haters. There are many, many haters. In the summer, Chelsea tell us we can have Mudryk and Palmer for 150 million. What are you saying? No. 150 million for Mudryk and Palmer. Mudryk, for me, now, off the base of how he's played at Chelsea, Mudryk is no more than 40 million. Unless you think Cole Palmer's worth 110 million, which I don't, then no. By the way, how about this? We mentioned setting up a Discord. I've already done it. If you go down to the video description, there is a Discord channel. There's no messages in it so far, and I'm the only person in it. So there is now a Discord channel. I have no idea what to do with it. I could kind of do with someone that knows the ins and outs of Discord to help set me up with it. But in the video description, there's a Discord. So the community, if you want to be part of it, you want to join the Discord, feel free. And yeah, we'll see how the Discord goes. I think it could be quite cool. Did you see how fuming Saka was? Yeah, Saka was raging. And I also feel like, you know, when people say, oh, why didn't Saka just put the ball in? He had an open goal. Why didn't he just put it in? Well, maybe because he was fouled. Maybe Saka didn't actually just decide, what shall I do here? Shall I tap it into an open net, or shall I try and win a penalty, the penalty which I will then have to take under the immense pressure of taking a 90th minute penalty against Bayern Munich in a Champions League quarter-final? Take the easy route and tap it into an empty net, or take that route? Like, why would he make that decision? So I don't know. If a Saudi team offered 35 to 40 million for Partey, would you take it? Yes, I would. Absolutely. Also, I don't think he had enough space to shoot because Neuer came out quick. Yeah, I actually think the touch took the ball behind him. I genuinely think the touch took the ball behind him. I don't think he had a tap in at all, to be quite honest. But what game are you watching today? I'll have both of them up, but predominantly I'll be watching Barca against PSG. That looks on paper like a very good game. When it's an issue involving Arsenal, everyone piles in every single time. This is the thing, right? Everyone piles in on Arsenal. Arsenal fans defend ourselves, and then they go, "Oh, you're such victims. Why are you doing this and that?" And it's like, well, because you're coming at us for no reason. And then it becomes a self-perpetuating thing, because then they go, "Well, we only hate Saka because Arsenal fans defend him so much," and we're like, "We only have to defend him so much because you hate on him so much." And then it's just this constant thing that keeps going. It's like Saka had a really good game last night, regardless of the penalty thing at the end or not. He had Alphonso Davies booked within the first 10 minutes. He scored the opening goal, which was a brilliant finish. He had a great game. So, I don't know. Why is Nelly worse than last season? I think the lack of Granit Xhaka, to be honest. I think that the left-hand side, truthfully, has not functioned well all season. The fact that we're actually where we are, the fact that we've scored as many goals as we have, and conceded as many goals as we have, I genuinely think is impressive, because I don't think the left-hand side really has functioned this season. If you think about it, left back, we've been flipping between, originally it was going to be Timber, then it was Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Kivior. The left back's fluctuated. The left central midfielder has fluctuated. Sometimes it was Rice with Jorginho holding. It's been Jorginho. It's been Trossard we've tried there. Obviously, Havertz was there for a long time. So that left-hand side, it just is nowhere near the level of our right-hand side. And so I think that makes it difficult for Martinelli. Now, obviously, part of that has to be on Martinelli himself. But thoughts on Archie Gray of Leeds? Yeah, I like him. I don't know if he's ready for the step up yet, but I do like him. Can we do a special guest Laguna only stream on 10K? Maybe. We've got to get to 10K first. So if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. What are the lineups for tonight? Let me bring them up. Let me bring up the lineups. I haven't actually seen them myself yet, so we'll bring them up. PSG against Barcelona. I do think this is going to be a good game. PSG, Donnarumma in goal, Marquinhos, Hernandez, Beraldo, and Mendes, Ruiz, Vitinha, Lee, Dembele, Mbappe, and Asensio. Interesting. Do they have injuries? That doesn't feel like a very strong team. And then the Barca team, Ter Stegen in goal, Koundé, Araujo, Kubasi, Cancelo, Roberto, De Jong, Gundogan, Yamal, Lewandowski, Rafinha. On paper, I think the Barca team looks better. I think the Barca team looks stronger on paper. Do they have injuries? Who's on the... Barcola's on the bench. Ugarte. You know, I fancied Ugarte last summer, and we got nowhere near him. I mean, it's a strong bench. Why? Like, Zaire Emery's on the bench. Interesting. Like, PSG definitely have a stronger bench than Barca do. But I think Barca have a stronger starting lineup. And then we'll go and look at the Atletico Madrid Dortmund lineups as well. Atletico, the back five, Oblak in goal, Molina, Jimenez, Witsel, Azpilicueta, and Lino, De Paul, Koke, Llorente, Morata, and Griezmann. And then Dortmund, Kobel, Ryerson, Hummels, Schlotterbeck, Maatsen. Incredible that Chelsea let Maatsen go, and he's been not unbelievable, but very good at left back for Dortmund so far. Emre Can and Sabitzer, Sancho and Mecha, Adeyemi and Füllkrug. Look, I think that will be an interesting game, to be honest. I think Atletico Madrid will go through, but Sofa score clears Fotmob. I don't know. I quite like Fotmob. Hakimi's banned, isn't he? Oh, maybe. And yeah, maybe. I'm not actually sure. Aspie still plays? Yeah, it does. Aspie still plays. But yeah, there'll be interesting games. There will be interesting games. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Guna, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. Get your fingers on your keyboards because we are starting now. Clue number 1. This player won the championship when they were just 22 years old. This player won the championship when they were just 22 years old. Clue number 2. They have 4 goals in 126 games for Arsenal. They had 4 goals in 126 games for Arsenal. Clue number 3. They made their senior debut for Brighton. Clue number 3. They made their senior debut for Brighton. Clue number 4, they are 26 years old. Clue number 4, they are 26 years old. And clue number 5, they joined Arsenal for £50 million in 2021. And lots of you got that very quickly, to be fair. Even off the winning the championship age just 22, people were rapido on that one. And it was indeed Ben White. Benny Blanco was the answer. Mr. Happy got it first. Congratulations to Mr. Happy. I believe that is Mr. Happy's first ever win of Guess the Guna. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Happy, but I feel like that's your first win. So congratulations to Mr. Happy. He will be Mr. Happy, won't he? Sam Shapiro came second. Richard Hector came third. Ian Smith came fourth. And Alex Suter came fifth. So there you go. I do think the clues were a little bit easy for that one. I won't lie. I think the clues were a little bit too easy for that one. Why is United fans talking like they didn't get battered twice and get grouped by Copenhagen? Some fan bases have been unbelievably loud, all things considered. All things considered, I mean, Chelsea and Spurs fans giving it absolute big ones last night. Settle yourselves down. Settle yourselves down. Absolute hate watchers. Devin says his internet's done him dirty. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate, Devin. Yeah, if you could smash the like button whilst you're here, it does help me if you could click the like button. It takes you a couple of seconds just to scroll down and click that like button. But it does make a big difference to the way the videos perform. Did Spurs play last night? Did Spurs play last night? Did they bollocks? I think Arteta will turn Jesus into an 8 when we can get a striker. When we get a striker, because his work rate and defensive abilities are a bit like what happened with Joe Linton. Maybe. I did see a thing today, by the way. I can't remember who it came from. Which doesn't make it great. But it was someone where I noted it mentally, so it must have been someone that I trust to some extent, saying that Jesus thinks he might need more surgery. Jesus thinks that because of the pain in his knee that isn't going away, he might need more surgery on it. So he's currently basically fighting through a lot of pain to continue playing until the end of this season. It may well be that he has to have surgery over the summer. Then you've got to bear in mind, Ben White might also need surgery if his problem doesn't go away. So we might have Jesus and Ben White both having to have surgery this summer, which would not be ideal. It would not be ideal. Did the Arsenal fan base hate watch their rivals when we were in the dark times? Oh yeah, massively. Oh, massively. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pretending like I've not hate watched teams in the past. I'll tell you what, when Liverpool were playing against Spurs in the Champions League final, trust me, the way I celebrated that penalty against Spurs. Partey gets a 10 out of 10 for the foul on Musiala. Do you know what, right? Partey gets a 10 out of 10 for the foul on Musiala. Arteta gets a 10 out of 10 for making the substitution when he did. Because about 2 minutes before that, bear in mind, Kai Havertz and Declan Rice, if either of them had been booked, would have been suspended for the second leg. Kai Havertz went absolutely flying in about 2 minutes before that foul and luckily missed the Bayern Munich player. And Arteta basically went, okay, we'll take him off. And a couple of minutes later, Partey had to take that yellow card. So that was smart. Can you make a combined 11 of teams? Can you make a combined 11 of teams currently in the top 4? I could do that, yeah. Although it would end up just being a combined 11 of teams in the top 3 because I don't think a Spurs player gets into it. But yeah, I could do that. That Champions League final was one of the most nervous I've been watching a match, and Arsenal weren't even playing. Yeah, just desperation for Spurs not to win. That's the thing. Like we all hate watch to a certain degree. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. It is time for Guess the Non-Gooner, the game where I give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as Mr. Happy currently has. So, get your fingers on your keyboard for today's Guess the Non-Gooner. They started their career at Manchester City. They went on loan to Barnsley FC. They went on loan again to Barnsley FC. They moved to Burnley permanently. They moved to Tottenham Hotspur. So they were in the Man City Academy. They went on 2 loans to Barnsley, Burnley, Tottenham Hotspur, Atletico Madrid, Burnley, Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, Newcastle United. Who is the player? And loads of people have got it now. But who was the first person to get it? That is the question. Let me scroll up, make sure there's no VAR checks. Lots of you wanted Sancho, but it was not Jadon Sancho. And the first person to get it correct was Gunnar Millsy. Gunnar Millsy was first. It was Kieran Trippier. Gunnar Millsy was first. Phoebe was second. Saka number 7 was third. Drakar was fourth with an interesting spelling of Trippier, but I think that's what he was going for. And Leo Nesbitt was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations to Gunnar Millsy, who has won today's Guess the Non-Gooner. Very good, very good. Ian Smith wants VAR. Ian Smith is screaming for VAR. No. Ian, you said John Stones. Oh, you didn't. Oh, my God. Oh, fucking hell. Goal given to Ian Smith. Why did you say it so early? I mean, why did you say it so early? It was a great guess. Ian Smith won it. This was actually way further up. It was one of the first guesses. It was one of the first guesses. I scrolled so far up, and I still didn't scroll up far enough. Ian Smith's won it. Guna Millsy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's another VAR howler. It is another VAR howler. There's got to be. I need automated technology. This is like, we're getting to the stage of needing it, when they brought in automated goal line technology. I need some sort of automated technology here. This is, we're getting worse than PGMOL here. We are getting worse than PGMOL. This is the RTFOL, and it is in the mud. It is in the mud. I apologize. Dermot Gallagher will be out in the morning to explain my actions. I should just do what the referee last night did and just run off down the tunnel without talking to anyone. You should make one of the mods do it, make them work. I mean, well, if a mod wants to do it, feel free. You can hire me for £0 a day. Yeah, I might need someone, because I am shocking. I am shocking at it. I went up to check with you just in case, and I missed it as well. Exactly. It was buried. It was buried. Should Tierney be given another chance when he's back? If not, how much would you want for him? I don't think there's any point giving Tierney another chance. You look at, next season, already the competition for our left-back spot is strong. I don't think Kieran Tierney gets into it. Effectively, he's now another season behind the current squad in terms of developing with them. So yeah, I would say sell him. Realistically, can you get 25 million for Kieran Tierney? Can you get 25 million for Kieran Tierney? I don't know, but that's roughly what I'd be looking for. Control F doesn't work unless the spelling. Control F does work unless the spelling is wrong. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't Control F it, because if someone spells it slightly wrong, I still give them the win. So I have to manually check it. But how can I get a ticket if I'm not a member? And apparently I can't get a membership before the start of the season. Yeah, you can get a ticket. You can get a membership whenever. You can get a membership whenever. So you should just be able to become a member. Unless they changed it, but I'm pretty sure you can become a member whenever you want. And then you need to then you need to apply for the ballot, and then if you lose the ballot, you can use the ticket exchange. Arsenal and Man United have the opposite problem. United have no left backs, and Arsenal has maybe too many. Yeah, possibly. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't help United that they've got Luke Shaw and Malacia, and Malacia's disappeared off the face of the planet, and Luke Shaw's just usually injured. How much would convince you to sell Jorginho and Tavares in separate sales? How much would convince you to sell Jorginho and Tavares in separate sales? Jorginho, you'd be looking at breaking even on him. If you could get 12 million for Jorginho, I think that'd be nice. Tavares, 10 million. I don't think Tavares is worth much at all, to be honest. You can't become a member at this point of the season. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. In that case, yeah, you can't really get tickets, unfortunately. You'll just have to wait until next season. KT said he doesn't have any regrets, but believes we will win the UCL. To be fair, if he said anything other than the fact that he thought we could win the UCL, he'd never be welcome back. So that would be the issue there. Thoughts on Raya? I didn't think Raya was bad last night, to be fair. I didn't really think he did anything wrong. I didn't think he was bad. Look, anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. It's time to go and watch some football. Thank you very much, everyone that's joined. The super chats that came in from Bermuda Guna, Tony Josic, VDR, CCC, and Devin. Thank you very much for those. If you could, drop a like on the stream before you jump off. Subscribe if you're new. All that good stuff. If you want to join the Discord, the link is in the description. No idea what's going to happen with that, but I think it'll be cool to start building a community there. And I will be back at 6:30 as usual tomorrow night for another one. But until then, have a fantastic evening and goodbye.